Hey guys, so a lot of people have questions about how I clean my brushes, and as you guys know, I use oil paint and I clean my brushes using Gamsol, which is odorless mineral spirits from Gamblin. But there are other brands, like Terpenoid is another brand, but I use Gamsol. I think it has a good, it's got a low evaporation rate, so there's less fumes, that sort of thing. I use a brush cleaner, and it's got a removable sort of grate. So when you go to clean your brush, you're not stirring about on the mucky bottom where all the sediment is. And the nice thing is that it's got a sealable top, so you can carry it with you if you're a plein air painter. And I've got several sizes. This is for bigger canvases, obviously, bigger brushes, bigger canvases. When the odorless mineral spirits is dirty and there's a lot of sediment at the bottom, like when the sediment starts building up, and you want to clean out your brush cleaner, I'll show you what you do. Let's take a look. So first thing I'll do is remove the grating. Sometimes the holes get clogged up and I have to scrape it, but this looks pretty good. All right, so there's a lot of sediment in this, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just mix it up into like a soup so I can pour it out. Pour that in here. Actually, there was a little bit left over in there, so I'm gonna seal this up and then shake it really well. And that'll clean all the sediment off the bottom and the sides. Okay. Fill it up with some fresh mineral spirits. And I am good to go for my next painting. And what'll happen is that the mineral spirits, if I let it sit for about a week, then the sediment will go to the bottom and I'll have absolutely clear mineral spirits. So you never throw out mineral spirits. All right, so I continue to get a lot of questions about my frames, my natural wood floater frames that I make. The last common question was, do I make my frames for panels different than those for stretched canvas? And you can kind of see, I'll pop this up, but my panels are kind of thin. You can see it's like maybe 1/8 of an inch thick. So yes, I do make the frames differently for, you can see the profile is lower. This one here, the frame is much deeper because I've got 3/4 or 7/8, I guess it's about 3/4 of an inch of thickness. So I just make the frames deeper. All right, so the next questions come from Thierry in Wales, who is working on a school project. And the first question is, what do you look for in scene arrangement when considering starting a new piece? Typically what I look for as far as composition or scene arrangement is I'm looking for just a pleasant balance of large, simple shapes. When I first started out painting, I was more like a scene painter. Like I'd find a scene that I thought appealed to me, but I found that a lot of those paintings didn't work out. If you can't, to have a successful painting, you sort of have to build it on strong shapes. A lot of times I like a strong feeling of light in my paintings as well. And so I will look for an interesting pattern of light and shadow. So those are the things I look for, but it's kind of instinctual or instinctive, you know, whatever. I think that's where the personal part of, you know, when you go out, like you could say, take 10 painters out to the same location and they might all, I would assume they would all do it in a different way. There's another part of it that I can't really put a finger on. It's just like, say I'm looking through a viewfinder, and when I see, there'll be this moment where something will, it's like a moment of excitement where I'll see something and I'll go, oh, that'll work, or this is cool, or whatever. But there's this moment, this spark of excitement about something that I'm seeing. It's almost like getting an idea, like, oh, I know how I can handle this, or this could be cool. And I don't start painting until I have that spark, or that little, like I say, that moment of excitement about what I'm looking at. Without that, I will not do a painting. Next question for Thierry is, do the colors in front of you affect more than the color scheme of your painting? For example, the composition of your stroke technique, or in other words, do you find they alter the way you paint? I just see the colors that I see and I will kind of push them. Typically I'll warm them up a little bit, maybe exaggerate the yellow violet relationship to kind of create some feeling of light, but that's about it. I hope that answers that one. If you could visit anywhere and depict the place's culture in a series of paintings, where would you go? I'd like to go to Mexico, and I'd like to paint there, in particular Baja California. In fact, I have a friend, Mark, who's down there. He's been in previous videos. He's down there for like 2 months just driving around painting. So I'm excited to talk to him when he gets back. One thing I've found is that when I go paint somewhere, like for example, I paint in Maine every summer, but the first year that I went there, I just kind of I brought my paints and everything, but I found that I didn't want to just paint pretty scenery. So that first year, I only did like 1 or 2 paintings, and they didn't really turn out very well. And so I just kind of, that was within the first few days, and I thought, I'm just gonna absorb this environment, get to know it. So basically what I'm getting at is I like to spend time in a place and have some kind of connection to it. And I know I've said I want to go around the country and paint and everything, and we'll see how that goes. And I do plan to do that. I'd like to paint in every state. I'd love to explore, you know, the US and beyond. But I do know, realistically speaking, I'm most inspired when I've been to a place multiple times and, I don't know, maybe have some kind of personal memories or connection or whatever to the place. I have been to Mexico, I've been to Baja California several times, probably, I don't know, maybe 10 times. But that's a place that would be high on my list, and it would be fun to go down there and paint, so I hope to do that. Gonna get back to work. Thanks so much for watching, and welcome to my new Patreon supporters. Much appreciated. There's a link to my Patreon below. There's some additional videos. Anyway, so that's it. All right, see you guys in the next one.